Good morning. Sunday morning, December the 6th. Watching them birds this morning come back here. They're eating the little berries off the buckbrush. They eat that, and watching them up there at the house. The little bird feeder I put out, how those birds are just all over it, watching each other, and they'll put up with a cardinal eating it for a while, then this little titmouse will fly up and scare him off. But they all take turns, eating out of that bird feeder. Pretty neat to watch. God does the same for us. He gives us enough for the day, doesn't he? He gives us enough to make it through the day. We don't worry about it. It says don't worry about things. We don't worry. We got enough resources from God to make it through the day. That's pretty cool. Anyway, I just sitting back here thinking it's cool. Got a little breeze to my back. Had frost. The frost was so thick it was dripping off coming back here, it was dripping off the trees. The sun's warmed it up, and you can just hear it like raindrops coming through there. I got Ephesians 4 verse 18 here today. Looking through it, I'm so thankful that God has given us the knowledge that He has. This is how this reads out. The references to Ephesians 4 verse 18. Their comprehensions being darkened, being estranged from the life of God because of the ignorance that is in them, because of the callousness of their hearts. Because knowing God, not as God do they glorify or thank Him, but vain were they made in their reasonings, and darkened is their unintelligent heart. Alleging themselves to be wise, they are made stupid, and they change the glory of the incorruptible God into the likeness of an image of a corruptible human being, and flying creatures, and quadrupeds, and reptiles. And according as they do not test God to have Him in recognition, God gives them over to a disqualified mind, to do that which is not befitting. The ignoble and the contemptible things of the world God chooses, and that which is not, that He should be discarding that which is. In whom the God of this eon blinds the apprehensions of the unbelieving, so that the illumination of the evangel of the glory of Christ, who is the image of the indivisible God, does not eradicate them. But then, indeed, having no perception of God, you are slaves of those who by nature are not God's. Not in lustful passions, even as the nations also who are not acquainted with God. What, then, shall we declare? That the law is sin? May it not be coming to that. But sin I knew not except through law. For besides, I had not been aware of coveting, except the law said, you shall not be coveting. Now, sin getting an incentive through the precept produces in me all manner of coveting. For apart from law, sin is dead. That you were, in that era, apart from Christ, being alienated from the citizenship of Israel, and guests of the promised covenants, having no expectation, and without God in the world. And you, being once esteemed, and enemies in comprehension by wicked acts, because knowing God, not as God do they glorify or thank Him, but vain were they made in their reasonings, and darkened in their unintelligent hearts. Besides, you have confidence in yourselves to be a guide of the blind, a light of those in darkness, a discipliner of the imprudent, a teacher of minors, having the form of knowledge and truth in the law. For I am not willing for you to be ignorant of this secret, brethren, lest you may be passing for prudent among yourselves, that callousness in part on Israel has come, until the complement of the nations may be entered. And that's references to Ephesians 4:18. I won't add anything to that. See, I won't add anything to that. Isn't that nice knowing that God has given us the knowledge of the salvation of all mankind? Isn't it nice knowing that God has given us the knowledge that we will be ruling and reigning with Christ? Isn't it awesome that God has given us the knowledge that we'll be judging angels in life's affairs? Isn't it nice knowing that God says, don't worry about anything, but cast your worries upon me, upon Him, you know? Don't worry about stuff. Isn't it nice knowing that we have all, that all in all is going to be returned back to God, and that we understand that evil as we see it today is going to be done away with, that the last enemy is going to be done away with, will be done away with. Sin will be no more. Isn't it nice knowing that we know that Christ actually died to sin, and sin, He doesn't recognize sin to humanity today? We have all the knowledge in us. We can go around and see others, talk to other people, and they get talking religion. They get talking religion, and we don't. We can sit back and just watch and listen, because we have a wealth of information in us, don't we? Given to us by God. And we can listen to those that spout off all their theories about hell and damnation, and we know the truth. I was listening to a preacher the other day that went to seminary, went to all that stuff, and still they cannot see the scriptures have been mistranslated. They can't see the word hell was Gehenna or Sheol, the unseen. They can't see that. You know, there's so much to be thankful for that God has given us knowledge on things. Because we are His. We are sons and daughters of the living God. Yeah. Be thankful for what we have, for what God has given us. It's going to be a pretty day. It's going to be an awesome day. Got our wood carried in yesterday. That was a good load. Had a good load of that yesterday. So, anyway, it looks like it's going to rain. Clouding up. It was a clear sky when I got up this morning. But let's go see what God's got, shall we? It's going to be a pretty day. I'll talk to y'all tomorrow. See you then.